You know I don't have a lot of time. I've got to do this show with Jalen every single day. I've got twins. I've got an older kid. I've got 3 kids and a job. I don't have time to go shopping. And that's why 5-4 Club understands that your time is extremely valuable. Why waste it at the mall wandering around all those stores trying on clothes and not being happy when you get home? They've been the leading menswear brand for over 15 years. You can trust 5-4 with your wardrobe. Here's what they do. Every month, they send you a curated box of just 2 or 3 items that are handpicked to match your style and your fit. They know exactly what they're doing. So if you don't, that's okay. 5-4 Club will help you build your wardrobe 1 month at a time. You get $120 worth of clothes for just $60 a month. And if you've got clothes and you've got your wardrobe to the way you like it, you can pause or cancel at any time. What 5-4 Club does is they partner with cutting-edge designers and brands so you get the same quality as top designer clothes, but for way less. You don't have to go to the mall, and you save all that time. Guess who else is using 5-4 Club? Not just me. Chris Paul, Mark Wahlberg, and others are all using 5-4 Club. And 5-4 is featured not just here, but in GQ and Vice and InStyle. Here's what you do. Go to 54club.com right now and enter promo code JJ. And they'll give you 50% off your first month's package. Plus, you get a free pair of sunglasses. That's 50% off your first package at 54 Club, spelled FIVEFOUR Club.com. Promo code JJ at 54club.com. Promo code JJ. Let 54 Club get you fly.
Check out ESPN Films' newly released 30 for 30 podcasts. From the producers of our award-winning documentary series, this is an amazing collection of sports stories you need to hear to believe. Speaking of amazing, Delta Airlines and the Fly Delta app make your travel experience amazingly easy with real-time bag tracking, e-boarding, and passport scanning during check-in. And don't forget to download 30 for 30 podcasts to fill your flight with stories that will keep you coming back for more.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. What do?
We give the people what they want.
Enes Kanter was on Taylor Rook's Timeout podcast by SNY, and he said this about a threat from one of his teammates.
I'm not going to tell who. One of my teammates, like a couple of weeks before that scrimmage game, said, if I see one picture of you and KD, because he knows that KD live in the same apartment with me, don't come back to OKC.
Really?
I'm not going to tell who. He said that.
Do you think that teammate had a name that rhymes with Hustle Nesbrook?
It should, and rightfully so. While KD and Russell squashed their personal beef from the fact that KD did leave unceremoniously, Russell and his teammates should continue to understand that he, A, plays for the rival, and B, is personal on the floor. Because when your best player that has won an MVP leaves the squad and joins another squad that already won 73 games, plus they win the championship in his first year, if that don't create a rivalry, I don't know what does.
You know he's salty. You know he is salty. You know it. So this is interesting. In a week that involved Michael Bennett had an incident with the Las Vegas Police Department, and everything that's going on around the opening weekend in the NFL and the anthem protests and all of this, the Browns and the police officers, the local Cleveland police officers and other safety officials will be uniting together in a sort of show of unity before the national anthem. Is this progress in your mind?
Progress is every time we have this conversation. And a lot of people think doing a protest may or may not move the needle. As long as we're discussing it, that's what we hope to get accomplished, to create a level of awareness that we can respect every side and how they feel about certain situations that are taking place in our country.
I like this because there was a news story a while ago where the police said that they didn't want to go out and hold the flag. They were kind of like in their own protest against the protest. And then what they did is some of the leadership of the team in the front office got together with the police, and they're also scheduling to go out into the community and have sort of town hall kind of conversations to sort of, unite everyone. And I think this is a really good sign, and I love what this team and these people are doing.
I do. Awareness creates conversation. Hopefully conversation becomes action.
Exactly.
As you just described. And I appreciate what the flag has now become because of Colin Kaepernick. We look at it a lot different. Look at the major logos of the NBA, Major League Baseball, and of the NFL. They are red, white, and blue, are great colors. But the flag is resembled strongly in the NFL shield.
Yes.
And so with that, a lot of people took it extremely personal when people decided that they were going to use the anthem as their form of producing a passive protest, which for me is obviously their right, and what the military and the land of the free have put themselves on the front lines constantly fighting for us to have that civil liberty. And this now has spilled over and become just as important as what we're seeing on the field. And that's refreshing coming from sports, because a lot of times as an athlete, just shut up, do your job, play your sport. We don't care what you have to say. But I'm a taxpaying citizen, and it works both ways. You see the humanitarian efforts that are taking place amongst the natural disasters.
Of course.
That athletes are contributing, and not just them, everybody that's been affected. I'm pretty sure appreciate that helping hand, lending a voice, raising funds. And so this is the exact same thing, but it's a political and a socially conscious topic.
I'll be tuning into the Browns game just to see this, because I think this is a step in the right direction. I'm excited about it.
Then after that, we're going to start watching the Browns.
Exactly. That's going to be the most exciting thing that happens in the Browns season this year. Adam Silver is trying to make some change of himself. He's trying to come out with draft reform to de-incentivize tanking. He's trying to eliminate tanking from the game. How do you think he can do this? Do you think this is a good idea?
I think it's a really good idea, but it's going to be almost impossible to legislate.
It's also difficult because what if you are just a bad team? You know what I mean? Like, you are trying your hardest and you just don't have the players, or you had some injuries or whatever. So it's almost unfair to the teams that are legitimately bad that aren't trying to lose.
What has happened in today's game that is unique is that while there were dominant franchises like the Lakers and the Celtics and the Bulls getting championships, there was still all-stars sprinkled around the league.
Yes.
And so your favorite team in a lot of cities had one, or somebody playing at an all-star level. Now when you have 4 in Golden State, 3 in Cleveland, now that Kyrie's obviously gone, what ends up happening is you shrink the talent pool.
The NBA has turned into a have and have not league. It's like you are either trying to lose to get a draft pick to rebuild, or you are trying to win a championship, and there's not too many middling teams in between.
Because of the dynamic I just described. You're not making the playoffs if you don't have an all-star. You're not advancing if you don't have 2. And in today's game, it doesn't seem like you're not making to the finals if you don't have 3, and you're not winning the championship if you don't have 4.
It's going to be hard for him to do this. I mean, there's been all sorts of lottery reforms that have been proposed, but I do think it does need to happen, because I do want to see competitive basketball.
You want to see competitive basketball? Here's what you do. Nobody cares who wins the division except the teams and the local fans. Put up a banner. Some teams don't. Have a 1 through 16 playoff season.
When is this going to happen? Like, it's going to happen. It's just like the changing of the Redskins name in Washington. Like, this is going to happen. They're going to eliminate conferences eventually, right?
You have to have the best 16 teams seeded accordingly. So we're not having this conversation. I'm getting you ready right now. Come April, it's going to be 2 or 3 teams in the Eastern Conference under 500 making the playoffs.
It's good. You're going to see the Hornets there or whatever. You're just going to be like, wait a second. They just went 40 and 42, and now they're in the playoffs, and they're just going to get completely steamrolled by the Celtics or the Cavaliers. 1 through 16 is going to happen. The conferences will be eliminated, or, it's not a travel problem anymore. Like, the whole thing is just antiquated, and it needs to change. And when it does change, just remember where you heard it first. Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
Somehow you knew the Chiefs were going to beat the Patriots.
Yes, sir.
We have actual competitive football.
Eric Berry for the season.
I know. So many injuries. Man. Amendola went down with a concussion on a very routine play. Didn't even seem like his head got hurt. It was just weird. It's bad to see.
And I have to give a shout out. I always have to make sure I acknowledge when guys just be seasoned vets. Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about the greatest quarterbacks,
game manager,
his name won't come up.
Nope.
But all I know, his teams consistently win.
Mm-hmm.
He takes care of the football. And he threw 4 touchdowns.
Kareem Hunt, too.
He was balling.
And the thing about Kareem Hunt I love is you're a rookie. It's the first time you've ever played in the NFL. You got to be nervous. And you probably didn't sleep the night before.
And speaking of not sleeping, how about this? Of course, I'm playing against him this week.
I'm playing against him this week, too.
I'm like, seriously?
He put up 51 points in one of my leagues. Couldn't believe it. But we do have a full schedule in the NFL. We're going to break down all of those games right here on Jalen and Jacoby. The first one we're going to start with is not the most exciting slate. We got the Jets and the Bills. The Jets are going to be bad. They're going to be historically bad.
Yeah, if this was the 60s, it'd be a great game.
If it was the 60s, I guess. This is going to be miserable. They've got 38-year-old Josh McCown. It's not great.
Tell the truth. Like,
can we move on?
Not to be a Friday morning QB, but do you think you could do as well as him behind center?
No, of course not. I wouldn't disrespect a professional football player that way.
I do. Like, I normally don't feel that way. I'm like, you know what? I could probably have his spot.
I don't think so, Mr. McCown.
The only thing, they do too many meetings.
Let's go to a good game. Oh, yeah, they do have a lot of meetings.
Basketball players play more than we meet.
And you guys only have meetings with players-only meetings. You complain about the coaches.
Football players, they meet all day. I'll be falling asleep.
They have a lot of classroom. Like, you watch Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Like, this is like college.
No doubt.
Like, you guys have lectures. You got notes. You got binders. It's too complicated.
No doubt.
Basketball, just give me the ball. Get some buckets. Falcons at the Bears. This, I think, is going to be closer than a lot of people think.
Yeah, at the beginning when it's 0-0. What do you mean?
You think they're going to just go to Chicago and just tear up the Bears?
I do.
Okay.
After 6 weeks, Mitchell Trubisky will be their starting quarterback.
Mitchell, not Mitch. Mitchell. Mike Glennon is the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
The Falcons, while they lost Shanahan, who's obviously the coach with the 49ers, return an explosive offense.
I want Julio to be healthy 100%. He says he's 100% because Julio is one of the most exciting football players to watch. His
Absolutely.
big playability.
Because normally guys his size don't run that fast. He's the unique combination of both that's in the game.
Yep. This will be a good game. I'll probably watch this one over the Bills and the Jets. Sorry, Bills fans and Jets fans. Moving on, we've got the Ravens going up against the Bengals. Two teams that I can see them go either direction. These two teams.
Well, for the Ravens, they got to keep Joe Flacco healthy this year. That's going to be a key.
Yep.
I handcuffed their backs in fantasy. West and Woodhead. I expect them to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield.
I like Woodhead.
Don't get fired. For the Bengals, it's always been about, can they take the next step? Andy Dalton under center, A.J. Green, one of the top wideouts in the game.
Tyler Eifert.
Can their defense also show a level of discipline and get stops when needed? Is going to be a key for their season this year.
And Joe Mixon obviously has his own trouble passed off the field. But on the field, he can be explosive. And he could be a weapon for them. Next game we got Steelers at the Browns.
Who scheduled these games?
Here's the thing, is they're just focused on the big games. They're focused on the Thursday night game and the Sunday night game.
And then
the billion-dollar tickets. Those are the ones that they're looking at.
Gotcha.
And the Monday night games. They're just looking at the primetime games. That's all.
Gotcha.
Steelers at the Browns. The Steelers
they used to be rivals.
With Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, Le'Veon Bell.
Yep, Big Ben.
The Steelers could have a record-breaking offense.
4-time Killer Bees.
The Steelers are going to be fun to watch, and I think they're going to absolutely tear up the Browns. But if last night taught us anything, anything can happen in the NFL.
I got to see the Steelers defense, but I put on wax that I felt Seattle was going to win the NFC.
Don't say it, Jalen.
I was looking at KC
Don't say
until
it, Jalen.
Barry got hurt. I told you this last night. I'm going with the Steelers to win the AFC.
Really? That's. We'll see. I want to see some games before we start looking at that.
I know, but that's why you got to do it before the games start. That's called a prediction, David.
Bryant.
You're like, I want to see the games when they start.
Yeah. Before I start saying who's going to win the conference.
It's only fun when you do it before the games even play.
I wouldn't pick against the Patriots. I just wouldn't pick against
You
the
said
Patriots.
that last night when they played against KC.
I still think they're going to win the division. I still think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. That's the way it is. But I think Bryant is very interesting. He has some he has a habitual medicinal problem. They got a lot of habitual medicinal guys in the Steelers.
No doubt.
They got a lot of habitual medicinals. And so he went from Los Angeles to Henderson, Nevada to work out. We had a lot of time off because of his habitual medicinal. And he said that he kind of weaned himself off the medicinal. It took him 4 days. He couldn't sleep, he said. And he's working out and training for the first time in his life. In college, and even his first couple years in the pros, he didn't even train in the offseason.
And he's a deep threat.
So he gets better, and Ben Roethlisberger could throw a great deep
Antonio
ball.
Brown going to continue to put up elite-level numbers. He likely the number one receiver taken in everybody's fantasy draft.
Yep.
Le'Veon Bell, probably the second running back taken in everyone's fantasy draft. They have weapons. And I love Mike Tomlin.
I want to see Deshaun Kaiser. I just want to see what kind of pro he'll be. But it's gonna be tough sledding for the Browns.
You better get there early.
It's gonna be tough sledding for the Browns. I want to see the national anthem thing with the police.
Yeah.
That's exciting to look forward to. Wait a second.
What happened to Johnny Manziel?
Wait a second. The Cardinals are going into Detroit to play against your Lions. Do you have there it is.
So let me.
Oh no, Jalen.
So let me go on wax again.
Oh no, what are you going to say about the Lions this time? Didn't you say they had 11 wins in them this season? 11 wins is what you predicted, Mr. Predictor?
So here's what's about to happen.
What's about to happen?
People think Green Bay winning the division, but the Lions are.
The Lions are going to win the division?
Yes.
Over the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
Jalen.
See, here's what happens.
You know what? I love fans like you before the season starts.
No,
September fans are great.
So here's what happens.
I guess the Pistons are going to make the playoffs too.
When people talk about teams on the come up this year in the NFC, they're going to mention Carolina. Mm-hmm. They're going to mention Tampa. Mm-hmm. You know what those teams were doing last year when the playoffs were happening?
Watching.
Correct. The Lions have made the playoffs the last 2 years. Number one. 2, Matthew Stafford just got a big check.
Got paid.
Amir Abdullah got injured early in the year last season.
Abdullah could be a difference maker.
He can ball. And so Tate and the weapons we have on the outside, the Lions, not the Packers. Remember where you heard it. And I'm not just caught up in the hype because...
You're caught up in the hype, Jalen.
I looked at Green Bay.
You're a Stan fan.
And their defense...
You sound like a fan.
Hasn't necessarily got the stops when needed. We win close football games. I think the Lions win the division. And we obviously make the playoffs for the 3rd straight year.
You still predicting 11 wins for the Detroit Lions?
Yes.
You're such a fan. This isn't happening, Jalen. I'm telling you right now. They're going to win 9 games. 8 games. They're not going to win the division.
All right, so we'll do a gentleman's bet. I'm definitely taking over 8.
10 push-ups.
All
wait,
right.
no.
You already owe me 5. Now that I think
you can't
about
say
it.
over 8.
Here's what I just now remember. We bet on the Patriots-Chiefs game.
I'll do my push-ups.
And you owe me 5 in-public push-ups anytime.
I'll do them right during the break.
Nah, this ain't public enough. TV ain't public enough. Nah.
I'll do them right now.
These don't count.
I'm doing the push-ups right now.
These don't count.
You talk while
I want you to do them in a restaurant while we having dinner and adult beverages.
See that form?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for Hunt. That's for Alex Smith.
I shouldn't be this tired after doing 5 push-ups. I really shouldn't be this tired after doing 5
People
push-ups.
sleep. I'm trying to tell you.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Jalen Rose. Dwayne Wade said, quote, "The only thing I'll say right now is my plan is to be in training camp."
And my main man, D. Wade, still gets paid. On the all season, we vacay in the shade. That's just publicly negotiating with the Bulls. Because in order for him to end up on the Cavs, which we're predicting is going to happen, he has to get bought out by the Bulls.
He didn't say training camp with the Bulls. He just said, "I'll be in training camp."
And since they owe him over $20 million, they're like, you could have opted out.
Yeah.
So you chose to come back. In. So since he did opt in, they understand that they have the leverage. And so usually a buyout probably happens 85 to 90% of the salary.
Okay.
I don't see the Bulls writing a $17 million check
just for him to go away, to do him a favor, a $17 million favor for Dwayne Wade. There was also reports that he hasn't spoken to anyone in the front office for a couple months.
Nothing to talk about.
Yeah, send me the check.
Nothing to talk
Unless
about.
you're asking me for my address.
There's nothing to talk about. The Chicago thing was a business transaction from the beginning, and I was standing on the table saying what when he left Miami to go to Chicago?
That he's going to end up in the Cavs.
That he should have stayed in Miami.
Yeah. He was sensitive. Him and Pat weren't getting along. He was sensitive about that. I'm sensitive about this next story. Free agent Antonio Cromartie just had his 14th child. Congratulations to the Cromartie family. This is his third child since having a vasectomy. Jalen Rose, you know a vasectomy is in my future. Should I have a vasectomy, even if you can have children afterwards?
I've heard you talk publicly about this.
It's going to happen.
I've heard Mike Golick talk about this very same topic.
I'm going to do the show from the operating room. I'm going to do it live on TV.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
I didn't know you could still have kids. He had twins after a vasectomy.
My point exactly.
I don't need any more twins.
You don't need any more surgeries that guarantee that you don't need any more surgeries that don't fully guarantee that you can't have more kids. How about that?
That's a problem. You remember that picture of Aaron Rodgers fixing Sam Decker's garbage disposal? And we were all talking about how we're not really handyman and Aaron Rodgers is this and that.
He wasn't fixing it.
Do you know what he did? It was unplugged. He just plugged it in. Which got me thinking, did you know that garbage disposals need to be plugged in?
I do.
I didn't. How did you know that? I don't believe you. I think you're lying. I think you're lying. I think you're trying to sound cool on wax.
No.
I didn't know you had to plug in a garbage disposal.
Well, back in the day, think about it. We had the type of kitchen appliances where you hit the switch for the garbage disposal and it didn't need to be plugged in because it was all one piece.
Yeah.
When you start to have fancier kitchens, you understand the difference.
I still have the switch.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my kids are scared of it. Garbage disposals are kind of
They're
scary.
loud.
They're kind of scary.
Come on,
This is the
by
topic.
the way, come on, Sam Decker.
Come on, Sam Decker. He's young. Drake is recording a new album, and there's a picture.
Drizzy!
There's a picture that he posted of him recording the album, and there was something very interesting on the wall. He had a gigantic. It was called a 6-foot picture of Beyonce in his house.
In his house?
Or his house, his recording studio, wherever it is. Question: should Jay-Z feel a certain way about this? I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool at all. You cannot have a gigantic picture of my wife as inspiration around your house.
We were at the Super Bowl together.
Me and you?
And I recall she was about to perform at halftime, and everybody was rushing to go watch Beyonce. I'm like, I'm not tripping to watch Jay-Z's wife perform.
But he has to write an email to one of his assistants and say, you know what I want? You see this picture of Beyonce? Add an attachment. He's like, I want this, but huge. And I'm going to put it up on the wall.
Imagine if he and Jay were to collab on a record. Can't do it in that spot.
I mean, what if you came over to my house and had a giant picture of your girl on the wall?
That's awkward.
Just weird. That is weird. Come on, Drake.
And some people be like, oh, he being savage. No, that's being weird.
No, that's weird. I don't like it. Come on, Drake. Uh-oh. Time for the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
This one's going to get us fired. A plastic surgery addict claims that a botched nose job
Lil' Kim
has left him with a painful and permanent erection. Jalen. There's so many questions I want to ask, but I don't want to get fired. Jalen Rose, have you ever thought about getting plastic surgery?
I haven't thought about getting plastic surgery, but if I had to walk around with an erection all day, nobody would be able to come within 6 feet of me.
A painful and permanent erection. This guy, painful and permanent.
Wouldn't want it permanent.
From one don't get fired topic to another don't get fired topic, Jalen Rose. One thing, we learned a lot about each other doing this show, and there was a topic that came up, and one thing I learned about you is, I don't know why or how this happened, but you have an affinity for breast milk.
I do.
I don't know how this happened.
It starts young.
It starts young. I've tried it. I think anybody who's had a child has sampled, just to see what's going on.
One of my first times as a teenager, again, not proud of this story, just spitting facts, not glorifying anything in any way, shape, or form.
We're gonna get fired today, I can tell.
At an adult entertainment establishment.
Oh no, Jalen.
There was a woman on stage.
Oh no, Jalen.
Squirting customers with breast milk.
We're gonna get fired. We're lucky our show is on at 2 a.m.
And most guys,
executives see this.
Most
like,
guys
what are they talking about?
Most guys are like this. I was like this, like a water fountain. Like put a little arc on it.
End the segment. We gotta go. We might be back after this, or they might pull the plug in the studio. Jalen Rose already predicted the Lions are going to win the division, which is insane. Insane.
We lost a game last year on a Hail Mary by Aaron Rodgers. Matthew Stafford had more comeback wins in the fourth quarter than any quarterback in the game.
You were down in the fourth quarter in almost every single game because the Lions are not that good at football.
And so now we're going to get off to better starts.
We'll see about that.
I'm telling everybody, Amir Abdullah. Remember I said it.
Okay.
Going crazy this year.
I hope so. He's on one of my fantasy teams. I got in the J&J Fantasy League. I got him just so I could bother you. I did it just to bother you.
I saw when you took him.
I
was going to try to take him.
just to bother you. I knew you were going to take him. You were drafting right behind me.
No, I saw when you took him.
I scooped up Abdullah, and I was just like, I'm going to end up trading this for not what he's worth. I'm going to trade this to overvalue him. He's going to have a couple great games. I'm going to trade him to you for like Aaron
that's going to be a good
something.
pick. That's going to be a good pick.
Well, we'll see if Matthew Stafford can live up to all that money that he's making.
He's going to be a top 5 QB, yards-wise, touchdown passes this season.
You're such a fan.
I'm trying to tell you.
You're such a fan.
Let me tell you some words that I've never said in my life. The Lions are going to win a division.
How many times have they won division in your life?
Maybe once.
Exactly. That's why you've never said it.
Correct.
We'll see. I'm rooting for the Lions. I'm a Lions fan. Let's continue down the slate of games. We've got the Jaguars at the Texans.
This is the kind of game for both of these teams when you start off your season. Put you in a position to be one of those teams that can do something special because you start to feel good about yourself early, or it's like, oh, here we go again.
That's the thing is the Texans defense is so fun to watch.
Yes.
Like J.J. Watt's back healthy. It's so fun to watch this defense. I love their defense. But when you've got Tom Savage as your starting quarterback,
21 Savage.
He's not very savage.
No.
And you're not going to... You
think you're better than him?
No, Jalen. I'm not better than any quarterback in the National Football League. And neither are you. I don't know why you say this.
Well, I can't really throw. I can catch.
Yeah, you can't throw. I've seen you throw a football before. It doesn't look right. For a professional athlete, sometimes you're other sports, you're bowling.
Kenny Stabler. That's what I throw.
You're very good at basketball. And you would think being a professional athlete would translate into other sports, but you're just really good at basketball. Like, what's your second best sport?
Football.
Really?
I can catch. I got great hands. I catch BBs at night.
Okay. Well, we'll see. This game isn't going to be very good either. Now that we're looking at all these games, like there's not too many I'm really excited for.
You said it. This is how they build up to the nationally televised game. Blake Bortles,
he's
Chad
awful.
Henne
Ugh.
are the quarterbacks for Jacksonville. One is a Wolverine.
Both are terrible.
I love their receivers. The Allen brothers. Fournette, as a rookie.
It'll be fun to watch
I need him to have a big season.
I've been wanting to watch him on Sunday ever since I saw him at LSU.
Yes.
I've been wanting. It seems like ever since the second game at LSU, I was like, I cannot wait to watch this guy run on Sunday.
Well, when you first saw him, you thought he's already in the NFL.
Because he looks like he's 45.
Yes. But you said it. I mean, it was good to see DeAndre Hopkins get his money. Jadeveon Clowney led the NFL with tackles for a loss last year.
Clowney and Watt. They're
going to be balling. Lose Wolford.
Yep. So now we have the Raiders at the Titans. This is going to be a good game.
Yes.
This is a game this is probably the one that I'll be watching at 10 a.m. on Sunday.
So here's another thing like I did with Amir Abdullah. People sleep on Mariota.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jameis Winston, and he came on to say draft class, and Jameis has the bigger personality and the bigger smile, and he's playing for Tampa, and Tampa did some really good offseason moves, and people are talking about them ascending in the conference. Mariota can ball.
Yeah, Mariota is kind of like a sexy pick, is like a sleeper MVP. But we'll see what happens.
What about Marshawn Lynch?
I'm concerned about Marshawn Lynch. I'm really concerned about it. Everyone listens to the show every day. If you listen to the show, you know that we're both very concerned about Marshawn Lynch. I want the best for him, and they've got a great line which could protect him. But the way he runs, I'm just concerned about him. That's all.
Derek Carr, returning from injury. I think had he not gotten injured last year, obviously you have Cooper and Crabtree on the outside.
They were so fun to watch. I don't like it when quarterbacks get injured right before the playoffs like that. Because then you're looking at a different team.
On paper, and rightfully so, the Patriots going into the season earned the right to be head and shoulders the favorite to not only win their conference, but win it all. But the AFC has some stout teams. Pittsburgh, KC. Man, I hate that they lost Barry. The Raiders. The Bengals may ascend this year.
Broncos always have a great defense. Another game we have is the Eagles at Washington. This is also at 1 o'clock on Sunday on the East Coast. Neither of these teams particularly excite me.
Carson Wentz excites me.
Did you pick him on your fantasy team?
I didn't. The one thing I saw Philly do the last couple of years that I'll always pay attention to, they keep some backs.
Yep.
They got Blount. Sproles is still there. Smallwood can play. He going to turn some heads this year. Added Torrey Smith, a deep threat. Alshon Jeffrey is going to be a nice target. I think that's a team that people should talk more about going into this season.
Yep.
Little brother Brandon Graham on the defensive side. You're going to see him getting a sack, throwing up the ice wood. That's how we do it in the D.
Shout out.
The Icewood?
Yeah, Blade Icewood.
I have no idea who that is. The Colts and the Rams are not even going to discuss. Andrew Luck's not playing. Rams are boring. But the Seahawks going into Green Bay to play the Packers will be the big game in the afternoon.
It is.
That's the big game Sunday afternoon. That starts at 4:25.
I like to make these statements, but it's Seattle's front four going to be the best in the game this year on defense.
Yep. Richardson makes a big difference for them.
Man. And they already had a Legion of Boom. This is why, as Russell Wilson fought through injury the entire year, didn't miss a game. Still has Baldwin on the outside. They're going to do running back by committee. Seattle, again, is my choice to win the NFC. Now, for Green Bay, they have Aaron Rodgers. Jordy Nelson
is Aaron
returns.
Rodgers the best quarterback in the game?
Yes.
Better than Tom Brady?
He's more talented. Tom Brady's better.
It's interesting. Sometimes Tom Brady, it never seems like he's got the weapons around him, but he's still successful. But last night it did kind of feel like they could use a couple more younger, skilled players.
Well, you're not giving KC credit. They got a young, skilled player. His name is Gronk. They shut him down.
Gronk shut himself down. He's broken. Gronk is broken. Gronk is broken. I think we've seen the best of Gronkowski. I really think we have. I think the best of Gronkowski is behind us.
I don't believe that. Especially this year. I got him on one of my fantasy teams. Over the last few years in doing this job, I've quietly done a really good job when I'm talking about certain teams not saying their mascot. I've done it with Washington. I've done it with Cleveland. I've done it with Atlanta's baseball team. Really proud of myself.
Good job, Jalen Rose. I'm really glad that you gave yourself that shout out.
Shout out.
I was trying to encourage others to do the same.
I think it's good. I try not to say the Washington team's name, but I say it sometimes. I just do. It happens. We got the Panthers at the 49ers. Cam Newton. Underwent surgery for his shoulder in March. He's been contacted 307 times, more than any other quarterback since 2011. Should he change the way he approaches the game?
He can. He's a terrific dual threat. And arguably, on the ground, is a better. He has better attributes than actually throwing with accuracies in a lot of cases.
He had the worst completion percentage and off-target percentage in the NFL last season. Think about that. This is Cam Newton, who 2 years ago was completely changing the NFL. He was the face of the NFL.
Funches on the come up.
You think so?
Olsen has been a consistent tight end threat, one of the best in the game. But everybody's ready for them to roll out their prize new rookie, Christian McCaffrey.
I like white running backs. I'm just going to say it out loud.
Say it proud.
I like white running backs.
Right. See, this is one of those things like inherently people sometimes try to act like they don't root for people that look like them or sound like them or from their hometown or from their neighborhood or went to their school or whatever. But we do.
We do. And I'm really excited about Christian McCaffrey. Really excited about Christian McCaffrey.
The way you feel about white running backs is the way I feel about black quarterbacks.
Good. I don't see race. Then we have the big game. Sunday night. The Giants going to Jerry's World to take on the Cowboys.
That's arguably the game of the weekend.
That's the game of the weekend for sure.
Prime time, Ezekiel Elliott will be in uniform. Dak Prescott in his second year. Des Bryant eager to prove that he's still among the elite receivers in the game. But every time I look at their sideline, I see Rob Marinelli. And for Detroit Lions fans like myself, the look that he had on his face when they lost their last playoff game is one I saw the entire year when we went 0-16 and he was our head coach. So each year, when their defense, shout to my family, Scandrick, overachieves, in my opinion, on paper, I think this may be the year they don't play as well as they did last year on that side of the ball. Just a prediction. Now for the Giants, Odell Beckham dealing with an ankle injury. He'll play.
You got Brandon Marshall.
Sterling Shepard.
I think Brandon Marshall's going to be really good on this team.
Their offensive line has been in shambles over the last couple of years.
Great defense, though.
And Eli will throw it to the other team.
He's good at that.
And the Giants and the Cowboys clearly playing a divisional game just like Washington and the Eagles are. It's really important to get those divisional wins early.
Prescott only completed 13% of his passes over 15 yards against the Giants last year, and he completed 56.5 against everybody else.
The Giants' defense is really stout.
It is.
And I'm telling everybody, the Giants have a safety that reminds me of Sean Taylor. He wears number 21. Stay fixated on that football player. This weekend.
Thank you. It's a pass league now. Everybody passes the ball. The Cowboys ran the ball in a designed run 46% of the time, which was the highest in the league.
Ball control.
They're really running. They're saying, you know where our strength is? Our offensive line. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to block him. We got Zeke, and he's going to run for 6 yards.
The Giants have snacks on the front, on their defensive front.
Yep. It'll be a good trenches matchup.
JPP will be in a three-point stance, literally.
Trenches matchup.
And Landon Collins will be coming down, watch number 21, in the box to help stifle the run, blitz the quarterback. He's going to be in conversation for Defensive Player of the Year.
Me and you disagree on a lot of things, but we definitely agree on this, that Lonzo Ball should not be slandering Nas in any way, shape, or form.
No.
And when you hear this sample from the new song that he just released, you're not going to be happy.
See my little brother
brother, he just doing him. You can check the gram, he got 1 million fans. Got his brothers, he don't need them friends. He's swagged out.
You are now listening to a gentleman that disrespected Nas, and then 2 days later came out with this song. Do you hear this? Can you hear this? Can you hear this? This man disrespected Nas.
The best way I could put it is, before he's able to record into a microphone and put a record out for public consumption, it should be mandatory for him to sit down with 2 things: a Bible on one side and Illmatic on the other.
I can't believe he disrespected Nas. Nas's worst song is 10 times better than this trash.
And how about, we were leaving New York City yesterday. We thought about him dissing Nas, and what do? We started playing all Nas.
Some Nas. Yeah, just some Nas songs you forgot about. Just play Hate Me Now. Just play Hate Me Now. It sounds like that song is a movie. God, I can't believe this. Jalen Rose, I learned something pretty interesting. The Warriors have not paid for their championship parade yet. The Warriors owe the city $816,000. How come they're not paying for the parade?
When does it due?
I don't know what the terms are. It was, you know what? Everyone was happy. You know, they're just like, we'll figure this out later. We just won a championship. And they probably looked over the invoice and was like, wait a second, how much?
And they just built a new stadium. They just moved the team from Oakland to the burbs. They're like, we got enough bills we dealing with right now. We'll get to it.
I got to go back to this story, Jalen. Here's the thing. You almost got us canceled when you started talking about breast milk before. But there was an actual story. A woman has donated 1,040 ounces of breast milk to Hurricane Harvey victims to help feed people that need their breast milk. What would you do with 1,000 ounces of breast milk?
Store it.
Just ration it out?
And
bathe in it?
And drink it in small increments.
Just every day?
Bottle it.
Just every day have a little breast milk? The LA Clippers are selling star courtside seating next to the benches.
Catch up.
So they're selling courtside seating. You can sit right next to the players. I've always been curious about this. Like, do you have a conversation with fans that sit right next to you?
Of course.
You just chop it up?
They're sitting right there, yes. Multiple teams have this. The Pistons were one of the first teams to actually do this in the mid-2000s, putting those seats that are accessible to the bench. And so it's just really good business.
I've always been curious. This is the only sport that I can think of where the fans and the players that aren't in the game can just reach out and touch each other. Like, it's like there's no sort of protection. There's no separation. Like, you think about baseball, there's a dugout. In football, there's a sideline. Tennis, they're protected. But, like, you can be a fan and just tap. You can just tap Jalen Rose on the shoulder and be like, how's it going?
More importantly, how about this? You could get dapped from a player.
I've always wanted to do that.
At a football game, they got to be walking through the tunnel. Baseball, they got to be going to save a ball from going out of bounds.
I always feel bad for the guy, like after someone hits a big shot, and then the player gives somebody a pound, and then gives the guy next to him a pound, and then someone else has their hand out, and you can't give everybody a pound, and then they get dissed on national television.
Get the Heisman.
Have you ever considered buying a courtside seat?
Yes.
Really?
Done it.
Really?
Yes.
You paid for it out of your own pocket?
I'm trying to think of... No, I didn't pay for it.
I was about to say...
I sat courtside a lot of times, but I didn't pay for it.
You were in the league for 13 years. Of course you sat courtside.
Yeah.
Your whole career in Phoenix was sitting courtside. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show just like this.
Yo, Jalen and Jacoby. What up, though? Shout out to Reggie. This is Hundo from Miami. I'm currently in Chicago because this chick Irma made me evacuate. First, I want to say I appreciate what you both bring to the table. Jalen, I love what you're doing with JRLA. Much respect. And Jacoby, I admire what you've done for the minivan community. You're both an inspiration. So I heard you guys talking about the LFL the other day. My girl plays in the LFL. She led the league in sacks this year and was nominated for Rookie of the Year. I'm so proud of her. These women are serious athletes. She ran track in the Big Ten. Most of her teammates were D1 college athletes. She's the best athlete in our home, and I'm not afraid to admit that. So the women on her team refer to myself and some of the other significant others as the Boyfriends Club. One of those other guys happens to play for Jalen's favorite NBA team, but that's a story for another day. Boss move or soft move? Calling the significant others of the LFL the Boyfriends Club. Because when my boys heard me say that, they clown me. And another related one as a card-carrying member of the Boyfriends Club, boss move or soft move, rocking your girl's jersey at an LFL game. Keep getting them chicks.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love. A couple of things.
Shout out.
When you decide, like Jacoby, to join the minivan mafia, you know who you are.
Exactly.
You're comfortable in your own skin. And first and foremost, I'm sick of the dude that act like he's too tough to represent for his wifey. That's a boss move. There's nothing wrong with being in a club that supports your significant other.
The Boyfriends Club?
Whatever the name of it is, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, it's definitely a boss move to wear her jersey because she has one.
Of course. The professional athlete.
All of your friends that are trying to clown you, look deeper into their relationships. And I bet a lot of those guys aren't in them. Or in happy ones. You keep representing, and it's okay to not to be the best athlete in your house and admit it. Dudes just have too much ego and too much testosterone.
Of course.
Not to pay homage to the gender that, as we honor every Wednesday, truly does heroic work, and that's women.
Shout out.
It's a boss move. It's clearly simply a boss move. Thank you so much for the call, Hundo. Everybody in Miami affected by Irma, everyone in South Florida, we're with you. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey guys, Mike from Oakland, longtime listener. Shout out. Got a quick question. Now that it's definitive that Jamie Foxx and Katie Holmes are officially a couple, can we anoint them a power couple first? And second, where do you guys rank them in all the power couples right now? Thanks, guys. Keep giving people what they want.
Of course they're a power couple.
No doubt.
Of course they're a power couple.
Jamie Foxx is family. I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him, too. You know what? We support all power couples. We support power couples so much that we would not put one ahead of the other in a ranking.
No doubt.
You know what? They're all great. They're all
no
power
question.
couples.
No question.
So I'm in on all of them. I'm even in on Blake and the Jenner. I'm even in. I'm in. I support them. I want him to be happy. I want him to stop wearing skinny jeans at the beach.
I do too.
But I want him to be happy.
You know it's something when we put our guard down for the Kardashians and the Jenner.
Yep.
We did it for Tristan.
We did.
We're doing it for Blake.
Yup. Power couples. We
Until
support power
further
couples.
notice,
we support
gotta
power
stay
couples.
true to who we are.
That's right. Thanks so much.
And coincidentally, for whatever it's worth, Tristan's been on the program. Jamie's done a drop for us. He'll come on the program. So like you, we can't rank the power couples. One of the fun couples I'm enjoying, though, I ain't mad at A-Rod and J-Lo.
Me neither. I mean, they're no Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, which is the funnest couple out.
Yeah, they're the best.
But they're the best. I love them so much.
J&B.
Thanks so much for the call. Let's listen to another voicemail.
J&J, what up? This is RT from Atlanta. I got a question for you guys. Man, number one, I've been hearing you guys talk about football a lot, and it gets drowned out a little bit just because, man, just everybody I know is excited about football, and it's not that I'm not excited, but I don't always want to hear about it. SportsCenter is always talking about it. People always posting on Facebook about it. Then I come to J&J, getting that dope pod to step to, man, and that's what I hear y'all talking about it. That and Jalen's 15-minute power soliloquies. Those are awesome. Keep those coming. But nah, I'm just ready to hear about some basketball or something else. So I wanted to ask, man, I'm from Atlanta. I like all the Georgia sports, but I'm curious about the Hawks. It seems like I don't really know anybody that's on their team. I know they just signed somebody today. I don't know his name, something Quinn. And then they got that point guard or shooting guard from Oregon who was really exciting to watch in a tournament last year. Man, so I'm just calling to see what you guys think about the Hawks, see what you think they're going to do this year. I kind of think they're going to be sub 20 on wins. I really think they're going to try to lose a lot, try to get that lottery. Anyway, what do y'all think? Hit me back. Peace.
Thanks so much for the call, RT. There's not a lot of good news for the Hawks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I don't think this team is trying to win games this year. I really don't. I think when they saw Horford go, and they saw Millsap go, and then Teague's gone, and all of a sudden you're looking at that 62-win team that they had 3 years ago, just 3 seasons ago.
Kyle Korver.
Just 3 seasons ago, they had 62 wins. Now you're looking at it, you're like, I guess Dennis Schroeder is their main featured offensive player.
Dwight Howard is come and gone.
Yep. Not a lot of good news for the Hawks, but, sometimes you got to tear it down and rebuild it.
And I appreciate you acknowledging that we don't force topics. It is football season. Hunt went crazy last night for KC. Mm-hmm. I told Jacoby the entire game what was going to happen.
You said that they were going to win. You said the Chiefs were going to win, and I said, no, they're not. You said it before the game. You said it during the game. You said it after the game.
And here's what the NFL has run into. Going into the NBA season, we're going to talk about Paul George and OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie and Hayward in Boston.
The Rockets' new backcourt.
No question about it. All of the moves that are happening. In the NFL, what's the dominant storyline?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Whether he's going to be punished or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
concussions.
How much. And concussions. And so that's more of an issue that the NFL is facing than anything else.
We got time for one more voicemail. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show just like this.
Hey, what up, Doe? It's your man, D. Scott. Hey, listen. I got a serious question. Is Kevin Durant a better scorer than Kobe Bryant? I know he's more efficient, but is he a better scorer than Kobe Bryant? Hey, man, let me know what y'all think, man. Holla back.
I think I'm the foremost expert on all things scoring Kobe.
Yes, yep. I think that's fair.
I will be considered a caddy in this. With that being said, Kobe Bryant is a volume scorer.
Yep, a shooter.
That once he got going, as I saw too close and too personal on way too many occasions, he can have those streaks where he'll put up 81, where he'll score 40 in an entire month. But he also would be a guy that would take 40 shots. KD, on the other hand, has been a 50, 40, 90 guy in the game. He's 6'11", and he scores so effortlessly, it's hard for me to put one over the other because they both get buckets frequently and easy.
Yeah.
I'll say that they just go about it differently based on their size and their approach and their efficiency.
Thank you so much for the calls. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. Leave them over the weekend, and we'll get to them on Monday. Jalen, it's time to give the people what they want. We're starting with this question. This is from Mr. Wang. He wants to know, is the name Reggie cultural?
Yes.
I think so. I'm trying to think. I'm going through my mind. I'm like,
I don't have to think.
Do I know any white Reggies? I'm going to say no. Okay, so now Reggie chimed in. Reggie finally started listening. He said it's not cultural because of Reginald. I don't know any white Reginalds, or any Latino Reginalds, any Asian Reginalds.
Yeah, good point. Here's what is cultural that maybe you can help me with.
I'm always here to help you, Jalen.
I'm gonna say that for TV.
What? Say it.
No.
Say it.
I want you to hear it once.
Okay.
It's
Great
about
tease.
names.
Great tease. Okay. God, there's a lot of these questions are going to try and get us fired today. A lot of these questions trying to get us fired.
You know what? Maybe I should ask you now because they may not want me to do it on TV.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Is the name Rich cultural?
No.
Okay. Is the acronym that people call people that are named Rich cultural?
Yes. You mean like Dick Vitale?
Yes.
Yeah, that nickname. Yeah, first of all, great point by our producer. Not an acronym. Acronym is very different. It's a nickname. But yes, I do not believe there. I'm trying to think. There are not too many people of color with the name Dick.
Right. And so how do you get from Rich to being called that?
I love how you won't say it. You're allowed to say it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Nah.
I don't know how that works either. I've been curious about that myself. I don't understand nicknames or shorter names that have nothing to do with their original.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of another one. There
Since
are
we were
a few
talking
out
about
there.
Reggie and Reginald, it made me think, like, how do you go from Rich
I don't know.
to D-I-C-K?
I don't know. I love how you won't say it. You're funny. Matthias wants to know, who of you will win the bet of being a vegan the longest?
Me.
You're more disciplined than I think you get credit for. Like, you don't curse. You will not curse. You haven't cursed in decades.
I will win that.
I think
Here's
you would
why,
too.
though. I got an unfair advantage.
What?
You got a wife and 3 kids. Just because you going veggie, that don't mean everybody else is.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. And one thing, here's one thing. This is why dads have dad bods. You end up eating whatever the kids don't eat. You make a full box of mac and cheese, and all of a sudden my kid says he wants a hot dog, and I don't want to argue with him, so I make him a hot dog, and I got a full box of mac and cheese there. Guess what I'm going to do with it?
Yep.
I'm going to eat it.
He said he wants 20 McNuggets.
Yeah,
he
only eat
15.
3. Yeah, and they're sitting there.
You eat the other
and
5.
There they go. That's how it works. That's how it works. I got to get in shape, though. Next, we have this. Since it's Hall of Fame weekend, who are some of the players that are in the Hall but don't deserve to be? Ooh, they went negative.
Yao Ming.
Yao Ming probably doesn't deserve to be there.
And I understand the globalization of the game and the popularity that he helped bring to the table. But just think about it like this. One year, he didn't play for the Houston Rockets, but he was voted as a starter for the All-Star game.
Was that a year you didn't make it? You should have?
I was out of the league, I think.
Oh, okay. We've got some information. We got some research from the staff, Jim.
And also, why he's in is the bar is lower for international prospects. A lot of people don't realize that. They're only compared to other international prospects, while American-born players are compared to everyone.
We've got some information from the staff. Conflicting information from the staff.
And it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It does take into account all of the basketball he's played. Please continue. Yeah. This sounds like a really good TV segment we burning right now.
Richard is originally in Germanic Rikarthu, which means hard ruler. Hence, the nickname.
Got it.
And then there's this information. People used to use rhyming names. Like they would call me Dave or Fave or something like that. So Rich could be Hitch, Hick, or Rick. Thus Richard became Rick. Rick gave rise to the nickname Dick.
Rise. I like what you did there.
Early in the 13th century. What about Hard Ruler? You didn't like that one? We're getting fired today. We're definitely getting fired today. We won't get fired. We're going to get an email. So there's some executives that worked late on Friday and they're driving home listening to Sirius Channel 80. They're
Kids
like, what
in
is
the car.
happening? Like, what is happening on this radio show? Do they know this is ESPN? Do they know we have a huge weekend of college football in the NFL?
Well, think about it.
We're just giving people what they want.
We're talking about Rich, and you're talking about how the name becomes something that represents a hard and a stiff ruler. I mean, we're talking about the NFL. I mean, how many players in the NFL?
Let's move on. James wants to know, is Hennessy cultural?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And you know, see, here's the thing about when
Hennessy's not that good. Can I say that?
So
Hennessy doesn't taste that good. Too sweet.
Speak for yourself. So I agree with you. I'm just joking. I'm just. I had so much by the time I got to college. I stopped wanting to smell it at that point.
Yeah, I've never seen you drink Hennessy in my life.
However, though, this is how you know when something is cultural. You have to answer quick. You notice how
if you have to think about
it's almost like a Hall of Famer.
Yes,
I don't want to think about it.
There shouldn't have to be an argument about it.
Every time you ask me that, you notice I say the answer quick.
Yes, it's a good point. Next question.
Let me catch somebody putting their feet out the window.
There we have. Oh, this is good. This is from Goran. He always hits us up. Shout to Goran. Reggie and Jacoby, have Jalen spell miscellaneous. I couldn't do this. I'm just going to straight up say, I'm looking at the word and I probably couldn't spell it.
M-I-S-C.
Great point. Great job by you, Jalen Rose. You don't have to spell the whole thing. M-I-S-C gets it done. That gets it done. Good job. Great job by you. Ooh, Lance has got an interesting question. He's got a bunch of different questions, so we'll start with this.
Okay.
Shouldn't Scottie Pippen have a statue? Reg just went hard. Reggie, okay, we got it.
Yes.
Really? In Chicago? It should be like a little tiny one next to Michael Jordan's.
Here's what has happened in Scottie Pippen's career. People give Michael Jordan all the credit.
Yep.
He's one of the top 50 players of all time. To me, if you're able to achieve that, that's worthy of getting a statue.
6 chips?
Absolutely. How many chips MJ win without him?
0.
Okay.
This one, why is it so hard to find the Fab 5 shoe?
Because they were put out as a limited edition so that they wouldn't have to sell them, so that they wouldn't have any issues with us.
Exactly. You guys didn't get paid for that?
No.
You didn't get paid a dime?
No, not a dime.
Did they send you a nice email? They didn't even send you a pair?
Nah, I can't front. Since then, they have reached out to me to try to send us a couple of pairs.
Okay.
I've played email and text tag with a couple of fine individuals that work for that fine company.
Okay.
To hopefully make it a bigger conversation than getting a pair of shoes.
Okay.
I did that in the early 90s.
Lance is a great question here. Since you're the statue analyst, the senior statue analyst of the world, Lance wants us to know, shouldn't Santa have a statue somewhere?
No doubt.
Santa needs a statue.
No question.
Does Santa not have a statue?
No question.
Think about all the things that Santa has done for children of the world.
No doubt.
Come on, Santa.
No doubt.
Where should Santa's statue be?
I got a nickname for Santa.
Dick?
Correct.
We'll be back on Monday. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, rate us and like us on iTunes, and party this weekend. We'll be back on Monday.